Welcome to r/Am I the Butthole, where OP's family demands they receive OP's investment money. Am I the butthole for not sharing the profit I made from selling an investment property with my family? About 2 years ago, I bought something really cool, a one-room schoolhouse in a town about an hour south of where I live. I'm semi-retired, so my plan was to do most of the renovations myself, with my wife and kids pitching in. I said that if they helped, we could do something as a family and make a profit. We could split any profits. My wife said she thought that it was a stupid idea. Our kids said they didn't have the time to help. My son from my first marriage was the only one who pitched in. He and I went 50-50 on the down payment and all the renovations. His wife, Paula, and my grandkids all worked with me, making it something special. All in, each of us put in $80,000 to purchase the building and on renovations. What we made sold for around $400,000 in January. We paid his kids $10,000 each. We paid Paula $20,000. And after everything was said and done, me and my son each got about $100,000. The money I invested was mine, not money from a shared account. My wife and kids didn't invest a single cent. But now that they found out their niece and nephew and their mom made money and that their half-brother made $100K, they're pissed that I didn't share. My wife is upset that she isn't getting anything out of the deal. That's not true. I'll use my profits to take her on a vacation. The majority will go into my retirement account. We had a family dinner last weekend and it was not cool. My younger kids said that I should have cut them in on a family project. My wife says I should give her half of my part. She also said that I should give my 2 grandkids some money too. They're 6 and 8. And they didn't help in any way whatsoever, not even taking out garbage. My other grandkids helped a lot, mostly with the yard. They earned their money. It wasn't a gift, it was a cut. In no way do I think I'm in the wrong, but my wife and 2 kids think I'm being a butthole. I need outside opinions, please. Am I the butthole here? OP, you are certainly not the first or the last person to have friends or relatives who say, "Oh, you're being a butthole for not giving me money that I don't deserve." It is a tale as old as time. You didn't give them money because they don't deserve any money. OP, you get 0 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for telling my wife to tell her mom to move out of our home after she decided to leave all of her inheritance to her brother? My father-in-law recently passed and left a very sizable life insurance policy to his son and wife, my mother-in-law. My wife received nothing. We understood this because my wife's brother, who's 27, is not the brightest and still lives at home. He never goes out and only goes to work and back home to play video games all day. My wife's mother and brother both recently moved into our home as they were too distraught to continue living in the home that my father-in-law passed in. My father-in-law was truly the only adult in the home and was responsible for taking care of everything. He even drove my mother-in-law to and from work on a daily basis, a responsibility that has now been passed on to my wife. I have since taken over the estate planning, such as paying bills, swapping over policies, etc. My mother-in-law doesn't speak English and doesn't drive, so as family, it was my pleasure to take on this responsibility. After a month and a half, I finally settled all the bills, funeral planning, etc., and all the heavy lifting was complete. I do not say it lightly, but without me, that family would have been lost on what to do. For example, they didn't even know where he worked and were supposed to find out if he even had a life insurance policy. Neither my wife's mother nor brother have any retirement plans or savings. I suggested a shared bank account for my wife and her mother to put the payout into, where it'll accrue interest but also pay off bills every month. It was at this point that my mother-in-law says that she would rather not have her daughter on the account and wants to give her portion of the payout to her son and have him set up a savings account. She says this because since me and my wife have a home, that it would be better used on her brother. We do have a home, but we are by no means rich. In fact, them moving in would help us out financially as there would be extra income from them paying rent. I expressed to my wife that leaving everything to her brother would be incredibly irresponsible, because then he'll inherit the family home and the payout, but mainly because he can't do anything for himself and he cannot be trusted with the money. I say this because of things I've learned about him. He does not have a driver's license, but drives a car to and from work. He's never helped with the estate, and I learned that he has a large amount of cash in his checking account. He's never had a girlfriend, and since I've known him has shown no signs of ever wanting to move out. The large bank balance worried me because when I asked about this, he told me he just had no idea what to do with it and has no concept of retirement planning since his parents took care of all the bills. And all he had to do was pay some of the mortgage, go to work, and then go home and play video games. My wife was also there when her mom had breast cancer and took her to and from every single appointment, to the point of using all of her vacation and sick days to help during this time. Her brother isn't a bad guy. In fact, he's a great friend, but he just doesn't ever seem like he'll grow up to be a responsible person. I told my wife that after agreeing to take them in and have them live with us, that it would be a slap in the face to be left nothing. So I told my wife that her mother and brother should move back home to their home and use the money from the payout to help them live with the absence of my father-in-law. My wife then became furious with me and said that all I care about is money, even though I feel this is not so much about money, but that there is a complete lack of respect with being shown nothing for all the help that we've been giving. Gonna read this comment from Senior Abies, which I completely agree with. OP, you are personally the safety for your wife. They left her out of the will because they were counting on you. You are the one being used in this scenario. If you don't exist, your wife would have gotten a share. You are an ATM. Hey, even better than a free ATM because OP is also giving free labor. OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving your wife and your wife's family 2.5 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for refusing to drive a longer route to drop a girl off because she didn't want to be alone in the car with me? I feel like it's relevant to mention I'm a male. This situation involves me and 3 other people, Joe, Sandra, and Amy. I'm good friends with Joe. We've been friends since we were kids. I know Sandra through Joe, and the 3 of us hang out regularly. Last week, Sandra invited her friend Amy to hang out with us. Amy and Sandra are good friends, and she's met Joe before. It was my first time meeting Amy. We just saw a movie and then went bowling. When everything was done, Sandra asked me if I was okay to drive Amy home. I said, yeah, no problem. I'm the only one who drives, so I usually drop everyone off after we see each other. I live in the middle of nowhere, like an hour north of all of them. They all live pretty close together. From where we were and where everyone's house is, it made sense to drop off Joe first, then Sandra, then Amy. Then I continue home. We didn't discuss the logistics in advance, so I dropped Joe off first, then was heading to Sandra's. I could tell that Amy and Sandra were texting each other, and they were kinda whispering. I had a feeling they were talking about me, but I didn't know for sure until Sandra just pointed out that I made a wrong turn and Amy's house was the other way. I explained it made more sense to drop Sandra off first, then Amy. It was only at this point that Amy mentioned she didn't want to be alone in the car with me. Her only reason was because I'm a man, and she alluded that being alone in a car with a man she doesn't know is unsafe. So what she was asking me was to drop her off next, then drive 10 minutes back in the opposite direction of my house to drop Sandra off. Then another 10 minutes back the exact way I just came from, passing Amy's house again in order to get home. My drive home is already an hour from town, so I said no. I didn't want to add an extra 20 minutes to my already 60-minute drive. They were both really pressuring me and trying to guilt me into just doing it, but I kept saying no. It was such an awkward ride because they just didn't give up. Amy just got out of the car at Sandra's house. She kinda slammed the door all aggressively, which pissed me off a little. I just drove straight home afterwards. Joe called me the next day and heard what happened. He felt like I should have just done it, but I feel like their ask was unreasonable. I'm not gonna go way out of my way to do a favor for someone who just thinks I'm some messed up abuser or something. Anyways, I'm just looking on opinions on whether or not I'm the butthole here. You were already giving these people a free ride, and then they're gonna turn around and criticize you? If she was so uncomfortable, she should have gotten out at Sandra's house and then taken a 10-minute Uber to her house. If she's the one with the problem, why is it up to you to accommodate her problem? She's the one with the issues. OP, I am angry on your behalf. This is like a super minor story. Like the other people get probably, 0.5 out of 5 buttholes, but just the audacity is really frustrating here. OP, you're completely justified. And if I were you, I would stop giving these buttholes rides. Are they at least pitching in for gas? Also, I can't help but point out the irony is the implication that Amy is making is that OP is some kind of like sexual assaulter who will, put her in a dangerous situation. Meanwhile, these girls aren't accepting that no means no. How many times does OP have to say, no, I don't want to do that? Well, you should do it anyways. Give me a break. Am I the butthole for telling my wife, forget it, and going out by myself for my birthday instead of going to her fancy dinner reservation? This has been an ongoing issue, and it came to a head yesterday. My wife is a planner. It's extremely hard for her to just go with the flow. If we're going to do something, she needs all the details. To be clear, she does have OCD. That's why she's such a planner. A while ago, she asked what I wanted to do for my birthday. I've been burnt out from work, so I told her I just want to go to a chain restaurant around here on my birthday. Just a chill night out. I don't want to get dressed up or anything. She asked where and what time. I told her I'll just pick the day off of what I'm feeling. Maybe I want Olive Garden, or maybe I want to get Chinese takeout. I expressed many times I don't want to plan anything and just go with the day. Really, I just wanted to go eat what I was feeling that day. This week she asked me what time, and I told her when we both get home, so like 5 to 6 p.m. we can go out. She was frustrated I wasn't giving her an answer about where to eat, and I told her multiple times whatever I was feeling that day. She asked if we needed reservations, and I told her no multiple times. We'll just walk in on Wednesday to a chain restaurant. She asked if I wanted anything fancy, and I told her no. I just wanted a simple night. Yesterday, I wanted Olive Garden. I want to go home, get some breadsticks, and chill the rest of the night. I get home around 5, and my wife is all dressed up. I ask why, and she said she made reservations for the fancy sushi place in the city. She said it was a surprise, and we need to leave in about 20 minutes. Nothing has sounded so unappealing to me in my life. I told her I wanted to go to Olive Garden. We get into an argument about how she spent all this effort to get a reservation. I told her I didn't want any of this. In the end, I left to go to Olive Garden by myself. We got into another argument after I came back. Wow, OP, what a fantastic birthday. 2 arguments, and you did not get what you asked for, quite clearly. I don't know where she gets off on saying she made all this effort to get a reservation. It's a phone call. Takes about maybe 60 seconds, maybe 2 minutes, tops. OP, you get 0 out of 5 buttholes. Your wife is very obnoxious. I'm giving her 1.5 out of 5 buttholes. I understand you think that her being a planner with OCD is relevant here, but it's actually not. The core issue is you said you want X for your birthday, and she tried to make your birthday about what she wants, which is sucky behavior. Am I the butthole for saying I don't give an F about my roommate's baby? I'm a 27-year-old woman, and I have a 25-year-old female roommate. Originally, it was me and my roommate, but she got pregnant by her boyfriend, causing her boyfriend to move in. At first, it wasn't a big deal. He wasn't loud, and my roommate didn't really bother me. But as the months passed and she got more pregnant, she started becoming more entitled and rude. For example, she would constantly steal my food, and when I tried to confront her, she would play the pregnancy cravings card. But the day that finally made me snap was the day that I bought home a small personal pumpkin pie. I wrote my name on the box and put it in the fridge. Later, when I went to get some, she was literally standing there eating my pie. Honestly, I wouldn't have cared if she only took a slice, but this B word was literally eating the whole thing. And fed up with her always eating my food, I got mad and I yelled at her. I asked her why she was eating my pumpkin pie knowing that it wasn't for her. She started crying and said she's pregnant and she can't help that the baby was craving pumpkin pie. In a fit of rage, I yelled at her and said, I don't give one F about your stupid baby. She gasped dramatically, like I just said something world-shattering, and she ran off to tell her boyfriend what I said. Later, he called me a B-word for yelling at a pregnant woman who can't control her craving. So, am I the butthole for saying I don't give an F about my roommate's baby? I like this comment from Happy Knittens. You were in the apartment. If the baby was craving pumpkin pie, then Mama could have taken 10 steps to knock on your door and ask if she could have some. True, true, true. Having a baby doesn't automatically give you a get-out-of-jail-free card when it comes to stealing other people's stuff. Also, such a coincidence that she just happened to have a pumpkin pie craving while there was pumpkin pie in the house. I mean, what are the odds? OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving your roommate 1 out of 5 buttholes. And I don't give an F about her baby either. That was r/Am I the Butthole. And if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.